So I'm using this headers function from next/headers in the server component, and what I want to check is that whether this component is getting rendered every time I request the page, which is a dynamic rendering. So as per the Next.js documentation, if you use the dynamic functions like headers or cookies in the server component, then that component will be rendered dynamically. And I just built that project and then try to access this URL, and you can see that 3 times I refresh the page and then 3 times it is rendering this server component. Okay, it is saying rendering on server now, which is coming from here. And this is happening because dynamic rendering is happening, which is because of this headers function. So now what I'm going to do is that remove this headers function and then let us see if dynamic rendering is happening or static rendering is happening. So I'm just gonna remove this thing now. Okay, let us rebuild the project. So npm run build is executed. Now let us start the server. Npm run start. But before that, you can also see that in this .next/server/app in this directory, next 13 page is already generated. So that is why it is called as static rendering. So now if I request that page, let us see what happens. I requested this page and let us see if rendering on the server that message comes in the server logs or not, because we have put this message right. And you can see that that message has not come over here. The reason being that rendering process is not being executed when the request is met. That's the difference between static and dynamic rendering. So in the static rendering, as you can see right now, the static rendering is happening. That means when the request is made, that that particular block is not getting executed. But earlier what we did is that we use these headers, right? So when we use the headers function, Next.js will again render this page, okay? Because this is a dynamic function. So if you don't want that, then make sure that you are not using these dynamic functions. So when you don't use the dynamic functions, what happens is that these pages are generated at the build time itself. So the response is pretty fast, and also those pages can be cached at the edge servers. So the responses are very fast. Thanks for watching.